There we go.
You didn't tell me.
We're doing roll call. Very good. Yes, so Oliver, I just need you
I'll just say it.
to,
Oliver, this is your parent rep.
thank you. And Cece's
Your
gonna
word.
So, first item is the approval of the order of the agenda. A few items here. So I'd like to make a motion to approve the order of the agenda.
A second.
Any discussion? All right, all in favor? Thank you. All right, so a couple of things here. Items needing council approval. First one is allowing LSC members to join the meeting remotely. I am expecting a call from CC or CC's parents to get CC on the phone. So I'd like to make a motion to allow members to join the meeting remotely.
Second.
All in favor? Thank you. Next one is minutes from the March 11th, 2026 regular meeting. I believe, it's in the folder, we didn't send the link, I guess that's the thing.
Does anyone know how to find the folder? Okay, then I don't forget.
I just have it saved.
Yeah.
So do we wanna, as I look through this, shame on me, I did not send the link to the minutes to the special meeting, but it was literally one item, so I felt okay with that. So how do people feel? Do we wanna
I'm all right.
punt that to the next meeting, or?
The one item says that we voted to approve the poll, but we voted to approve the voting.
Yeah, no, that's
results.
certification for
That's
sure,
it.
but for the March 11th, is what I'm saying, like, that one, people feel like they need to, does it make sense to just put that to the next meeting? Is that
I'm okay voting on it.
Oh. That's- Should we postpone the minutes approval? I say we do that, unless folks object, we'll move that to the next meeting. Very good. Minutes, again, from the April 1st, again, the line item there is that we voted to certify the election results for the upcoming, for next cycle, for the LSC members. So I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes from the April 1st, 2026 special meeting.
Second.
All right, all in favor? Thank you. The next item, a couple of give back opportunities here. Chicago's Stars Give Back, sponsored by FOP. We received the notification from FOP, and so I'd like to make a motion to approve the Chicago Star Give Back, sponsored by FOP.
I'll second.
All in favor? Thank you. Next item, Chicago Cubs Give Back, sponsored by FOP. Again, I'd like to make a motion to approve the Chicago Cubs Give Back, sponsored by FOP.
I'll second.
All in favor? Thank you. Next item, Igor does my bike give back. Sorry for the typo there, there's a little space that's missing. I'd like to make a motion to approve the Igor does my bike give back. And so this, I know a little bit more about this. It's Igor is it's a Peirce parent, a bike shop. And so through sponsorship, we'll get some dollars for Peirce. I'd like to make a motion to approve Igor does my bike give back. That's a mouthful.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor? Thank you. Motion passes. Next item, Midsummer Fest Give Back. Traditionally or historically, Peirce parents have volunteered at a number of the booths at Miss Summerfest, and part of the proceeds have been then reverted back to Peirce. I'd like to make a motion to approve Mid Summerfest give back sponsored by FOP.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor? Thank you, motion passes. Next item, temporary leasing agreement for One Northside Community Working Workshop. And this is also sponsored by FOP. The distinction here is we don't have an actual date. There needs to be some confirmation as to what exact date there's going to be, but it's happening. And pursuant to what we've done in the past, I'd like to put that in here preemptively, so that once we have the actual date, we can just retrofit that in here.
They're aiming for the next 30 days or so, or?
That's right.
Okay.
Correct. Since either the 21st or the 26th, I believe, on May, but I'm sorry, of April. But we need to, they haven't ironed out that date just yet.
Yeah, so without the date, you could just say a day in April, that way it's not completely open-ended.
Let me double check that it is May, so I don't say anything incorrect. Came from FOP, so I have it is either May 21st or May 26th. So thanks for that. So it's in May. So I'd like to make a motion to approve the temporary leasing agreement for One Northside Community Building Workshop in May. Thank you. All in favor? Thank you. All right. That concludes this session. Next, we have two opportunities for public participation. There is a sign-up sheet at the front of the door there. If folks can, I don't know if there's any, okay. And I also, what I do before the call or before the meeting, we go through the inbox just to check and make sure that there are no requests. So there were a couple of items that came through that Luis is going to address. It's just basically following up on some of the things that we said we would follow up at previous meetings, and I think Oliver brought that up also at some point. So that will be part of Luis's report. Next item is, are you calling? Next item is the report from our student representative, CC. Usually she sends it at the end of the meeting. There you go. Hello.
Hi.
How are you doing? How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good, thanks. We can hear you loud and clear, so you can keep going. You can go ahead.
Okay. Thank you. I'm going to start with the reports from the student groups. So the 5th, 6th, and 7th, 8th GSA. The 5th, 6th, and 7th, 8th GSAs are preparing for LGBTQIA+ Pride Month by collaborating with the Peirce Pride caregivers to plan the upcoming Peirce Pride Parade and other projects to showcase inclusion and diversity. They are currently working on an art installation design to put up in the school lobby/front entrance that celebrates inclusion and diversity. 5th, 6th Student Council. At their first meeting, the 5th, 6th Student Council introduced Student Council and went over the basics. They meet Wednesdays at 11:35 to 12:25 for anyone that is interested. I am going to their next meeting to introduce myself and gather ideas and concerns. 7th, 8th BSU. At the BSU's last meeting, they did team building activities and some April Fool's Day pranks. 7th, 8th Raza Unida. The 7th, 8th Raza Unida is working on potentially planning a dance for the end of the year and working on spreading more information about Raza Unida next year to other grade levels. 5th to 8th Student Voice Committee. At the last meeting of the Student Voice Committee, we defined equity and started talking about where it is lacking at Peirce and if students know what to do if one of their friends is having a mental health crisis. We are going to discuss more opportunities to collaborate with the school counselors on this. We also talked about having religious accommodations during the school day for students in the light of the end of Ramadan, where many students were fasting during the school day. Next meeting, we're going to talk about LGBTQIA+ representation and literacy, and kids sitting alone at allergy tables in the lunchroom. Student Wellness Committee. The Student Wellness Committee has been working hard to make flyers and posters for health days, weeks, and months in March. Students and teachers might have seen Oral Health, National Obesity Day, National Kidney Awareness Day, and Crisis Helpline flyers in the hallway and the cafeteria. We are now gearing up for the month of April. We're also working on sending out our mental health check-in form for 5th through 8th graders because April is Stress Awareness Month. We're hoping to learn the main causes of student stress and how Peirce can help reduce that during the school day. A few student updates. Peirce sports update. All Peirce winter sports seasons are over. All spring sports have had tryouts in track and field, 7th, 8th girls soccer, and 7th, 8th flag football has started. The 7th, 8th girls soccer team won their first game last Saturday, 5-0, and the 7th, 8th flag football team won their first game last Saturday, 58-36. Let's go Panthers.
All right. Thank you, CC. Any questions for CC?
What time did the student council meet? Can you
The
hear me?
5th, 6th one,
You said
11:35
Uh-huh.
to 12:25.
Okay, every Wednesday?
Yeah,
Is that during lunch?
yeah, that's during the 5th and 6th grade lunch.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
Very good. Thanks again.
Thank you.
All right.
Look at the defense, 58-36.
I was waiting for somebody to comment on that. I'll leave it alone. All right, next, principal report.
Yes.
You only got 30.
I'll do that. That's my job.
For real, that's time.
Yeah.
And I appreciate the feedback. Good evening, everyone. I hope everyone's having a wonderful day and enjoying this beautiful weather. So for my principal's report, first off, teachers and staff, big shout out, Assistant Principal Appreciation Week. This week, April 6th to 10th, celebrating our wonderful APs, Ms. Jessica Bakulis, and our outgoing Assistant Principal, Mr. Samuel Lee, which is the next bullet point. He is going to Sullivan, so technically he has already started, but out of the kindness of his heart, they gave him a hybrid schedule. So his last official day is this Friday, April 10th. So we wish nothing but the best for Mr. Lee, and we thank him for his contributions to the community. Yesterday we had a parade for him. You know, all the classrooms came to celebrate him. You know, I just wanted to shout out, like, you know, one of those sixth graders. Mr. Lee on a stick. So it was very heartwarming, very touching. So we appreciate also kids coming out, the staff and students, like, you know, really coming out and really giving them that appreciation. So we wish him all the best in his new role. Parent and community updates. So the spring survey, the My School, My Voice is active already. It's been active since March 18th and will be open until May 1st. We've also shared that in the SMORE, so I highly encourage parents to please complete that parent survey. Just a couple of save the dates. Dia del Niño is coming up on April 24th. If anyone is interested in volunteering, flyers, you know, sent home. There's a flyer here with a QR code as well, and there's a link too if you want to be a volunteer. You know, the Dia del Niño is a celebration of everyday children, families, and reading that culminates yearly at the end of April, paying homage to the importance of society of children and endorses their well-being. We also have coming up on this Tuesday, April 16th. Actually, that's a typo. Just realized that because it's Nicole, it's the 14th, right? I just realized that. So it's actually April 14th from 5 o'clock to 7 o'clock. Our family cultural event for Palestinian Chicago in honor of American Heritage Month. Proud to host an evening centered on culture, community, and the lived experience of Palestinian Chicago. You know, this is, you know, an event that, you know, will come to fruition to many other events in the future celebrating different cultures from the Arab American community. Fiesta del Arte, mark your calendars, that's coming up too on April 30th from 5 o'clock to 7 o'clock p.m. And of course, our wonderful student recognition and events, as CC alluded to, girls soccer team, impressive victory, 5-0 in 7th and 8th grade flag football teams for this round 58-36 against Kilmer. Great job to our student athletes, go Peirce Panthers. We will also be starting a Model UN club for our 6th to 8th grade students upcoming this Tuesday, correct, on the 14th as well. This is in conjunction with Sen High School. So we're really looking forward to having that here. And Oliver Junior School performance coming up starting tomorrow. So we have an evening performance tomorrow at 6 p.m. and a matinee performance at 1 o'clock p.m. So if you're able to join us, please come and join us. My son is actually coming on Saturday, so to come watch it with me. So he's looking forward to it. And our Cultivate administration window has opened on the 7th of April. That is the Cultivate survey that is administered to 5th to 8th grade students of the learning conditions and their daily learning experience. Jumping to Domain 1, organizational leadership. So we have continued with our professional learning plan, coinciding with our current CIWP priorities. One of the things that I did want to share are the current CIWP updates for the current CIWP and where we stand at the end of the third quarter. So in your packet, you have the slides that show the updates of where we're at. Again, these are the end of quarter 3 updates. So the final metric would be the end of quarter 4 to determine if we met the overall goal that we had set out when the CIWP was created. So if we look here at our metrics for practice goals, so the metric for practice goals is increase the percent of students moving up or staying at or above the metric for STAR 360 reading and math. So our metric for SY26 was 61% African American students and 31% for English learners, and for math it was 55% by the end of SY26 and 45% for English learners. And then you see our performance goals due. Our performance goals through the work of ILT and grade level teams, our IB units of study are developed by including rigorous grade level standards based on differentiated tasks. And our ESL and bilingual endorse, as well as our ELPT and interventionists, have been providing tiered instruction and interventions to master these performance goals. On the next slide, on pages 2 and 3, you'll see where the current scores are. So that 54% is for African American students. And if you notice there's one metric is district comparison, where they're at the district level versus where they're at the state level. So the goal for Black students was 61%. So this is where they're currently at, 54% compared to the district benchmark and 41.3% compared to the state benchmark. For EL students, they're currently at 29% for the district benchmark for reading and 12.1% for the state benchmark. So still well below, but again, that's not that's just the end of quarter 3 where we currently stand. So by the end of SY26 for reading, they have to be at 61% and 31%. And I believe the metric that was selected was the district metric. For mathematics, for Black students, 54.8% compared to the district and 31.3%. So we're very close to meeting the math goal. We're 0.02% away from hitting that end of year goal. Compared to the state, it's 31.3%. And then for EL students, 39.8% for the district measure and 20.2% for the state measure. The goal that you see down below there, the 63.6 for reading and the 61.1, that's the Spanish for students who took it in Spanish. That's the metric of the mastery for students who took it in Spanish.
I'm sorry, what is our goal? These are the actual numbers.
So if you look at page 1.
I'm sorry, yeah, I got it.
So that's it highlights the goal.
Got it.
So the next
Sorry.
page 2 and 3 highlight where we
Yep.
currently stand, if we're on track to meet the goal or if we're not on track. So there could still be, at the end of your testing, the fact that we can meet those goals, like there, in some areas, we're very close to meeting those goals, and others, we're still making progress to meeting those goals. In CIWP priority 2, the goals that were set for practice goals were increase the percentage of students who have a positive tier movement in branching minds, and increasing the percentage of goals met for students receiving tier 2 and tier 3. So the goals that were set for SY 26 was movement for students in tier 2 and 3 at 65% in math, 70% in 65% in reading, 70% for math. And for goal 2, students' goal met in math, tier 2 of 51%, and tier 3, 40%. And then we see our performance goals, and the way to achieve the performance goals, the progress that we made thus far in SY 26 is that whenever we have a benchmark testing, data is reviewed at grade level meetings and regular admin meetings throughout the year. NTSS ratings have not been provided for SY 26 thus far, but we are continuing looking at the screeners and the interventions provided regularly, and all that data is streamlined into branching minds to ensure that kids are meeting their intervention goals for the year. On the next page, you'll see where students stand currently for reading and mathematics in the movement that has been made. And then on the back page of that, here it shows the increase of percentage of goals met for students receiving tier 2 math and tier 3 reading interventions. For priority number 3, the practice goal was decrease the percentage of students with an IEP and students of color who are referred for discipline. So the SY goals were based on discipline data. So students with an IEP, the goal was 24%, and students of color, 51%. And student voice domain of the Cultivate survey had to be a rating by the end of the cycle of 76. For performance goals, if we look at the performance goals, the work that's currently been happening has been current CIWP building the next CIWP of being inclusive of student LSC members and obtaining feedback from student population via surveys and student voice, as well as with parent stakeholders as well. So the progress that has been thus far, and if you see SY 26, so the Cultivate in SY 26 fall was at 84. So we already met the goal, and our hope is that we, are higher, or we're higher than that 76 goal for percentage for Cultivate for student voice. Of the 46 discipline referrals in SY 26 as of April 7th, of those students, 43% are students with IEPs. Of the 46 discipline referrals in SY 26 after April 7th, 25 of the referrals were students of color, so 54%. In SI 25, there were 118 discipline referrals, 96 students, 81% of students of color, and 35% were students with current IEPs. Okay. In regards to the current implementation and creation of the next CIWP, we're entered the next phase of creating the goals and the implementation plan for the CIWP. So that opened on March 30th through April 20th, and it's our deadline for the district is April 24th to have the goals and the implementation plan. A lot of the CIWP that's going to be approved that coincides with the budget, which I have not received yet word of when the budget's going to be released yet. So there has been rumblings that it may be at the end of the month, but we have no word of it yet. But we are going to proceed as normal, preparing and meeting the deadline of April 24th to complete our CIWP. So right now we're building the milestones and the action steps and selecting the practice and the performance goals for the next CIWP. I did link there, or I did also share the slides of the theory of action, which I believe I shared in the last LSC meeting as well. Again, our focus is effective instruction and connectedness and well-being we did have a session for stakeholders prior to spring break, which was recorded and shared as well. Prior to us presenting the next CIWP to the LSC, we still want to gather more stakeholder feedback from staff, from students, and from parents as well. So we'll be sharing updates on that prior to the actual presentation to the LSC of the next CIWP. In terms of instructional teams, our ILT continues to meet regularly to meet the current progress monitor and work on the current CIWP goals and priorities. A couple of IB updates. PYP, is doing exhibition right now, and that will be taking place on Friday, April 17th, as well as our MYP updates. 8th graders are in the middle of a project with kindergarten and 3rd grades to demonstrate the understanding of new laws through collaborative comics. 6th and 8th grade both have field trips to the Museum of Science and Industry. One other update, an exemplary visit is going to take place in SY27. An exemplary visit is a more in-depth visit than a routine visit requiring a prior application. So this is to give our IB program an exemplary status. So it's a very in-depth visit that the district conducts. It involves a lot of sit downs with certain stakeholder groups, student groups, parent groups as well. So it is a very long process, and and the application is very long as well. So that will be sometime in the fall of 2027 or 2026. I'm sorry, that will be taking place. BHT continues to meet regularly. Again, referrals are being taken until May 11th. And teachers will receive EOI surveys for their students on BHT currently. We do have SEND coming out on April 17th to register incoming freshmen that will be attending SEND High School. And I did also share, and I missed the bullet point, SPED updates for March. Based on the current tracking of current initial evaluations, we anticipate the end of the year number of students with IEPs and 504 plans will be slightly ahead of last school years. In terms of MTSS, the final intervention cycles, the deadline was Monday, April 5th. Teachers should have all plans updated in branching lines for tier 2 and tier 3 interventions. We are in contact with any students who might be, at risk for summer programming. We receive a quarterly report and amend a very marking period if students are in danger of reaching that threshold. For domain 2, one of the things that was brought up as a question during participation in the last LSC meeting in March was regarding how students are being taught digital literacy, so internet use, media literacy skills, and what guardrails are in place to avoid overuse in a school day, and what opportunities of interpersonal interaction are missing in the school community. So one thing that was mentioned previously, that there was a technology teacher that was teaching these skill sets. So it is standard practice for many of our educators already to integrate specific skill sets directly into research-based curricula. So an example is exhibition. There's a lot of the digital-based research that is already taking place and skill sets that need to be taught in order to create their projects for exhibition, for example. However, from a school standpoint, in a long-term standpoint, in order to have a comprehensive understanding of the digital landscape currently at Peirce, we are taking the following steps. Step 1, surveying all teachers and students to determine how exactly digital literacy is currently being implemented within their respective classrooms. The data is vital as it will allow us to identify strengths and pinpoint specific professional development opportunities for teachers to elevate their skill sets with digital literacy. Regarding the concerns of device usage, we are firmly committed to establishing guardrails against overuse of devices, particularly during unstructured times, like recess, for example. Our priority is to protect and promote those interpersonal interactions, ensuring students have the time to have space to develop those social emotional skills without the constant presence of a screen. That is something that I would like to work with Student Voice Committee on to ensure that we build that efficacy too and get their voice as to what ideas they have from a student lens. And finally, developing a robust, balanced digital culture is a long-term goal for our institution. We want to ensure that it's an evolving strategy that we continue to work on through discussions with all stakeholders, but also to ensure that our students are both tech savvy, but also socially grounded. So in essence, ensuring a healthy balance of digital use, but also that they have that experience of knowing how to use it. Regarding professional development grade level meetings, we did not have grade level meetings the week of February 22nd. I'm sorry, that's actually a typo, I'm sorry. That's the week of March 16th and March 30th because of parent-teacher conferences as well as a shortened week, when we came back from spring break. This past week's grade level 2 meeting, we did focus on math curriculum conversations, finalizing which Ms. Leibovitz will be sharing the findings of those discussions as well as where we're heading regarding with the math curriculum. So these are some of the guiding questions that were looked at. We also used a lot of the tools in conjunction to that research that you shared with, and we implemented it as well in really reviewing this. In discussing where we as a school feel we need to go next with our math curriculum. Other items that were discussed were Dia de Niño planning. Our specialists focused on finalizing their budget because today was actually the deadline for those funds to be spent for for PE or 115 funds, so we started purchasing stuff already for the next school year with the budget that was approved from last year. So after today, 115 funds cannot be spent anymore. Requisitions are closed for that fund. However, other funds are still open that we can utilize, and I believe that deadline is June 5th. Specialists focus on that. Also gave collaborative time planning for our Spanish teachers as well as performing arts, especially for Fiesta planning, as well as the upcoming performance as well. And pre-K week, which is next April 12th to the 18th. It's also a vital opportunity to connect with new families. So we actually did share that opportunity with the district. So it's on the district calendar as well for any prospective parents for Peirce. So we're gonna have one event at the branch and one event here in the main building. Domain 3, culture and climate. I already mentioned our SY spring survey is already open until May 1st. In terms of culture and climate updates, you'll, as always, shared, here's the year-to-date behavior incidents for you to refer to of the number of incidents up to this current date compared to the last LSC meeting. Some of the highlights include Student of the Month. Again, on April 15, we'll be celebrating those March honorees and what it entails to carry those core values as a Peirce Panther of being respectful, responsible, safe, and IB. Also, some targeted learning project that Mr. Trad is currently working on is a restorative process to include a skill building component, especially when conflict arises. We want to make sure students complete a targeted learning project to ensure they understand the impact of their actions. So it's kind of like, more going in depth with that reflective piece instead of just having a conversation, making sure that they, have this ability to really zero in on what harm can cause when engaging in a certain type of behavior. So some of the focus areas include digital citizenship, appropriate language, and disability awareness as some projects, for example. And this ensures accountability is educational rather than punitive, giving students the tools to avoid repeating those behaviors. Other things mentioned student voice committee, we focus too on providing feedback for the CIWP, advocating for inclusive representation in classroom literature and religious holiday accommodations, something I will be sharing too with the parent community. The policy states, if a religious accommodation is requested, there must be written parent requests. So we can provide a space. So if we know ahead of time, we can work on having a space identified in order to provide the religious accommodation, and also auditing student equity and mental health support, as CC alluded to as well. And also collaborative lunch expectations. So March, we saw the rollout, and thus far it's been effective. One thing we do want to do is create a survey to measure its effectiveness long-term and ensure its continued success. Another thing that came that was brought up in the March LSC meeting regarding bullying protocol and family communication. So during public participation, there was an inquiry about the personal contact families received during bullying investigation or escalated student conflicts. So per CPS protocol, Schools are required to investigate incidents promptly and document findings and communicate with families, all the students involved, including notification of the investigation and appropriate follow-up. I did link it. It's a pretty lengthy, so I didn't print it out. It's a pretty lengthy vertical that has the definitions of all the, about what bias-based behavior is, the definition of bullying. So basically, in sum, one thing to say is like the language is in the protocol that there's a principal or the designee. So for example, Mr. Trad being the designee, for example, for culture and climate, or any other designee, in place of the principal. That can include assistant principals as well. They can also investigate, and any other designee the principal chooses are the ones who initiate those investigations. So like for bullying, there's a letter of initiation that's sent out to the families affected. And usually the information that's sent out is related to the impact of those impacted families. Like we can't talk about the consequences and everything of what the other student, if the student is being accused of something, those findings will be shared with the family as well. So at the conclusion of every bullying investigation, a letter needs to be sent out to families like, that this was founded or unfounded. But even though harm may have been not identified as substantiated, we still put into play, certain regulations such as like a safety plan if it's deemed necessary, or, restorative peace circles take place, again, depending on the nature of the bullying or of the bullying that was being, reported. We try to, like, again, take that restorative approach. Physical infrastructure updates. So Nicole, maybe you and I can talk about that a little bit later because I want to talk to all the women about this. Playground update. So PO has been issued. I've reported this many times before, of the fence openings along Gregory Street. We are working with the vendor to get this work scheduled. So it's been kind of like on a standstill too with that, but I have been asking weekly to give me an update. So my patience is wearing thin with this. So they are also still putting the gate and fence near the dumpster area as well to get that area, like, that is an area that families use. So I want to make sure that there's a safety net right there of the gates so that, if their dumpster is like, being picked up, the garbage is being picked up, that, there's that safety gate there. Brick pathway, again, that's already been quoted. One of the hiccups with this one too has been the weather. That they haven't been enabled because the weather has not been consistent. So hopefully now with the weather getting a little nicer, they'll be able to get that done. Our gym teacher, Mr. Carvajal, did write a proposal to FOP for gym floors, which I did actually share with facilities as well to see if there's anything that they could do on their end to help support that. So any upgrade to the gym floor is considered a school expense. So I did ask them to provide us some quotes to see what that would look like, the options that we have to ensure, that we put that, obviously Mr. Carver already shared that with FOP, but we want to make sure too, what we can do as a school to see how we can help mitigate that faster. On the next page, you see the attendance updates.
3 minutes left on the
Oh,
timer.
wow. Attendance rates are pretty much holding steady in that 93% threshold. So you feel free to take a look at that as well. And I also shared the comparisons to other months. Domain 4, so assistant principal position. Currently, as soon as we found out, we're actively looking. We've already conducted our first round interviews. So we're conducting round 2 interviews tentatively next week. We will have stakeholders involved, school stakeholders as well as LSC stakeholders will be a part of that process where we gather that feedback as well. I'll be reaching out to those individuals that have already expressed interest to be part of the interview process. For the 4th grade position, Mr. Rivera is on a paternity leave. We have been actively looking since February, and it's a very slim pickings because of the short window that it's a temporary position. So there hasn't been really that much quality applicants out there, but we continue to look for it. In March, Naomi Pincus, our 6th grade ELA teacher, did step down from CPS. She was a TAT prior to that took over from Miss Plaza. But with Miss Plaza not returning, I think her job protection ended this past January. I believe it defaulted to her, to Naomi, but she decided to explore other options and has left CPS. Wishing her all the best. We did currently have a sub in there who's been doing a great job, but I'm happy to report we did hire somebody, Miss Natalie Torres, who will be starting on March 20th. She's currently was working as an ELA teacher in Edison Park Elementary. So she, as a TAT, because she moved from another state to Chicago, so she does have experience as an ELA teacher, many years of experience. So we welcome her. One other thing I want to point out that was brought up in the last LSC meeting as well regarding the Spanish PYP position. We're still actively looking for that as well. Again, we're looking at vetting candidates. We just want to make sure it's a good long-term fit. It's been kind of slim pickings as well. We even had to update the description on the actual Taleo page because it was just showing up as a bilingual ESL teacher. So we had non-Spanish applicants applying, which kind of negates the purpose of the position. So during the last meeting, mention of the job description and the expectations for students in Spanish. So the Spanish world language teacher is responsible for delivering that standards-based instruction in the Spanish language and culture, helping students develop the skills in speaking, listening, reading, and writing, while also fostering that cultural awareness. And it includes all the inner workings of the teacher, that communication to families and everything. In regards to additional supports, which was also mentioned, is there any additional supports we can bring to the Spanish program? So our wonderful LPT, Mr. Lerner, he does ensure that students that are classified as ELs receive the proper support, such as co-teaching and pull-out services. He also receives training from OME, the Office of Multilingual Multicultural Education, and is responsible for sharing these professional development opportunities with all the teachers at the school. Just quick updates. I'll be attending the next meeting, April 9th, which is tomorrow, our network meeting, as well as the new Principal Institute on the 14th.
14th of April, right?
Yes. And then I attended, I previously said that March 17th was the budget training that I attended to as well in preparation for budget, and I'm done.
Oh, right on the dot.
Thank you for this.
Budget.
How much time do you want the questions, Chair?
Like 10 minutes. Any questions?
He didn't feel like 30 minutes though. I'm just gonna say that. I felt less.
Just an appreciation for the disaggregated information on the CIWP when looking at student achievement.
And that's a shout out to not just me, but to my whole team. We're all in it together. So shout out to all my wonderful staff.
So we will make this available on the folder, but to kind of piggyback off of what Raki just said. So in terms of goals versus what we have achieved, so it looks like, as you mentioned on the reading, we are above the stated goals for Peirce, and we're also above the district goals in some cases, not everywhere.
Not in all cases, yeah.
Okay.
Like for Black students, for example, we're very close to hitting that goal mark for the district level.
Okay, the one that I'm having trouble reading is the tiers, and I know that's always a problem because people move tiers. But it sounds like
There has been movement made with the tiers, yeah. So we had, let me look at it, and I'm so sorry that it's so tiny, but that's
No, it's
the
fine.
page.
It's fine.
So we currently had, let me see if I can find it for you.
So we said for math, it was 70% of students in tiers 2 and 3. And then for reading, it was 65%. So if we look at math, this is the percent met then?
Correct.
Got it.
So like if you go to slide 6,
Yep.
that shows you where the percentage rate. So one is reading and one is mathematics. where they currently stand at. So we have, the only thing is, and I wanted to mention that to Jessica, the 69 is not net improving. I believe that's.
But that's not a percent, or it is a
No, I think-
percentage, or is it
I
a
think that
number?
is percent of goals, yes. But what I'm not seeing here is the number of students.
So what drove like that, what attributes that it's, because it's a pretty big jump there.
But I think that it's because there are, so if you look at the MTSS, the higher the number, the fewer students there are.
Mhm.
So each one student has a larger, contribute to that percentage being higher.
Mhm. So like even for reading, for example, there's 69% of students have met their intervention goal for reading. 50% of students have met their goal. Like in mathematics, 50% have not met but are improving, that yellow bar.
Yeah.
And then if you go to the tier 2, that's that tier 2 group of students. So that's like 30% have met it, 40% are in progress. So they haven't got there, they're almost at that. And 20% have not met or improving. If you see the red, there's different shades of red with that, like, kind of like the light red, it means not met improving, with the bright red meaning not met plan ended.
So
that could be the
Yeah.
students like, who go, okay, all interventions have been already tried, we tried different methods, and, they're gonna be referred.
So those two priorities, it looks like that's the one where more of the work needs to be done, because that's where the greater discrepancy between goals and achievement is, or gap.
And we're gonna probably see a lot more towards the end of the year, because again, like, BOY to AOY is like really the metric, so we might see greater movement and more clearer picture. Again, this is just status of the now.
Thank you. Any other questions? All right. You did, yeah, sorry, go
What's
ahead.
the age group for Model UI?
6 to 8.
6 and
Middle school.
Agreed, okay. Nice.
We're very excited about it.
Okay. You did share in a quote from Great Minds, and I'm sure
But
we're gonna
that's
talk
for
about that
the
later.
budget transfers, yeah.
And I just have a question about that, but we can get to that.
Yeah.
All right, thank you,
Thank you.
and thank you for speeding through this.
You're welcome.
I know it's a lot.
Sorry, one question, and I might have just missed it, but the math curriculum, was there a vote on that?
Yes, and Kim is gonna talk a little bit more
Oh,
about that.
okay.
That's
Sounds
the
good.
next.
We got budget transfers here.
So, yeah, before, we do that, so you said something about the school expense for the floors. Is this both gyms or just this one?
No,
over
the
there?
one, the auditorium,
Okay,
because that,
so school expense meaning CPS is not on the hook for that?
you're not gonna pay for
We don't
it.
have.
So
a
they, in
number.
other words, they see it as a luxury. That, again, they didn't say it like that, but I'm like, I read between the lines.
Having a floor is a luxury.
So
Have
it's
you-
like, I'm like, well, at least you can do is give me a calculation of the cost of what I'm thinking about.
Seen Ms. Carvajal report, like what's wrong with it, or what are we?
Like, it's, floors are fading, like, there's a lot of scuff marks, and, kids are tripping too, because the floors are very uneven.
So it doesn't bounce the ball. the way
Yeah,
it's supposed
that, it's a lot of wear and tear. It's in dire need of,
The whole thing needs to be sand
yeah.
pretty good, and depending on what's left
And
of it,
it's
it might
not,
need to rip it
based
up.
on what facilities, Mr. Carvajal, like, estimates 10-15, it's not gonna be that. It's gonna be more.
All right, we can go on the budget.
So in the budget transfers, well, first off, I shared internal accounting reports just for your reference. Just the current state
couple of checks.
But here's a couple of the transfers that I'm requesting. The first two are in preparation for a purchase for a math curriculum. So I'm taking money from internal accounts, both for building leasing as well as student fees, so like splitting the cost for a total of 50,000 to put into 124 funds in preparation to purchase the math curriculum for K to 5. Because what we explored, K to 8, it's a lot more pricier. And in order to ensure the other curricular needs for the entire school, we're gonna phase it in, is what we decided. So K to 5 will be the focus. 6th to 8th grade will continue with compacted math, which is already provided by the district. So the request for that would be mainly for K to 5. And this would include the digital platform, the manipulatives, and the teacher kits.
Oh, okay.
So the idea is that we're gonna phase that in then.
I was looking at this books and I was trying to figure out what the cost per student is, but it's more than books.
Yeah, there's a lot more because we're getting the entire sets for the teachers.
So there's probably a reason for this. When I look at the quote that they provided, I'm just trying to figure out the amounts that they listed there. So I get the digital of $49.87, but that's not equal to the quantity times the list price.
So that is something that
Something
we
like discount or
observed.
something?
That is something we're looking into. Kim actually was the one who caught that too. So we're getting back with the company and saying, because basically we're reserving 50,000.
That's fine.
Basically just to ensure that we have enough to pay for it. But we are gonna reach out to the vendor and say like, can you let us know
That's fine.
about this?
Yeah.
And the quote that I'm sharing is the one that's based on the boat, but Ms. Lebowitz will share more about that.
Got it. Yeah.
But again, the whole purpose is just to move the money already in preparation to make the purchase for the math curriculum.
Makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. We gotta do 2 motions though, right? Because there's two
Yes.
2 line items that we're moving.
Yeah, it's like almost $5,000 in shipping and handling. I can go get it.
Right, or is it?
It's gonna be a lot of boxes.
Books get pretty heavy.
We're gonna have a hallway full of boxes.
I'm big.
With the new, I know.
Maybe you could stack them on a float.
Multi-use. I like what you're doing.
This last point of discussion, I really appreciate all of the research and sharing and invoice, and you can tell there's a lot of work that you guys put into this decision. I'm gonna vote no, just because I'm not a fan of this curriculum, but that doesn't affect the decision. So I just wanna make sure that that's clear. I mean, they're gonna do a whole presentation. If you wanna do the presentation first before we vote, that's fine, but, I think they're
Well,
gonna do a whole,
And this is an allocation regardless of the selection of curriculum. This is to be
Exactly.
prepared to buy resources.
exactly.
So whether it's this or something else, we're
Yeah.
saying next year, we need supplies.
Mhm.
Here's putting things into the right bucket so that those supplies can be purchased.
Because we gotta do it within a certain timeline.
Yeah.
Because
Do we
like, for example, 115 expired today.
Yeah.
Because last year was May 5th, they moved it up by 1 month.
Oh,
So that's why I got like a little nervous at the last network meeting. I'm like, why, what are you guys doing this? So thankfully, we have a line in 124.
Yeah.
Because 124 funds roll over to the next school year. 115 funds do not roll over.
115, you said was.
The school, yeah, that's the school-based one. So and they always do that, especially, that's when you know the budget's coming up soon.
Oh.
That's
okay.
usually the sign.
Okay,
Let's vote on the first one.
Was there a desire to do the rest of the grades or no?
Like I said, like there was,
There was.
for the sake of vertical alignment, but it's the cost,
How much was, and that's what I wanted to
close to
calculate.
$100,000.
100,000 with.
Yeah.
Through 8th grade.
Yeah, because you gotta consider algebra too, and that's an extra cost, that's like, just the algebra alone is $20,000.
It's amazing.
I mean, buying an initial curriculum is expensive. When you get the consumables, it becomes cheaper after that. So can I make a motion for, to make a transfer of, from internal accounts from building lease, to 1310 to the 124 fund for math books in the amount of $25,000.
Second.
All in favor?
Any discussion? All right, all in favor? Opposed or we have one? Very good. Thank you.
How many more minutes do we want for budget transfers on the timer?
This is like 5 minutes.
Yeah, let's just get another 5 minutes. Hopefully we'll get
So,
to pass.
next one, it comes from student fees, again, transferring $25,000 from student fees, again, to fund the purchase of a new math curriculum.
Second.
All in favor? Thank you. Motion passes.
Next one, graduation mandatory fee in, to 124 fund to create a PO for the LSC graduation field trip.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Thank you.
Next one is for FOP interpretation, so any events that we're having that, has been given from FOP, again, to be able to create the POs for any translation services in the amount of $2,000.
Second.
All in favor? Thank you.
Next one, this is to increase, security bucket, so not just also for LSC, but also any events that we might be having into June and everything, so it's to increase it, to pay security until June 30th. So basically transferring from one fund to the other to ensure that we have enough money to get us to the end of the year of $2,900.
Second.
All in favor? Thank you.
So the next one, what it means, decrease bucket from 688,402 to increase 688,400. So basically, one of the staff moved into a TA position. So we had a bucket allocated for that research coach. So that money was still there. So what we're doing is we're taking the money that was there because it's designated for those purposes to pay through a bucket. And we're gonna do it for Sally and Lynn, especially with upcoming pre-K registration. So we wanna make sure that we have that available for the summertime. Again, till June 30th, because this will be for the current budget.
Second.
All in favor? Thank you.
The next one is, again, a transfer within a fund, again, since 115 funds expired today. Moving from a benefits pointer line, because that's money, the benefits pointer is like, kind of like a reserve money in case we need to cover any negatives and any other lines. And to ensure that we didn't lose those funds, we're moving 7,800 again to purchase supplies for reading for SY 27.
Second.
All right, all in favor? Thank you.
Next one, again, same thing, transferring within 115. That one, I believe, was in a furniture line. So reading furniture was the designated line, moving it into reading supplies with the intention to buy reading supplies for SY 27, in the amount of $2,486.10.
Second.
All in favor?
And the last one, the equity committee reached out to me requesting if we can help with the purchase of food for our upcoming forum, this upcoming Tuesday, in the amount of $600. FOP provided the rest of the funds. I believe Nicole was 300?
400.
Or 400, I'm sorry. So they asked if we can provide the rest.
Second.
All right, all in favor? Thank you. All right,
Presentation.
thank you, Luis.
Thank you.
So I put 3 math series. Does that make sense?
Good enough.
How much time would you like on the timer?
Should be like 5 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's not gonna take long. Where should I see it? I wanna see it. I'm over here.
Yeah, 5 minutes.
How many does she want?
She said 5, two more.
We'll give you 6.
Okay, thanks.
This counts towards the clock.
Just to be clear.
Okay, we're good. Look at that.
Hey.
Okay, next slide, please. Oh, apparently there's a clicker. Oh, clicker.
See if it works?
Great. Okay, so this is like the presentation of the slideshow, remote through process, and then the 3 curriculums, Open Up, Eureka Squared, and Envision Plus, and then our final decision. Oh, that's the wrong way. So this is our roadmap. We did an extensive process where we took our school through looking at these curriculums. In December, I met with 2 of what I consider our math experts in the building, Ginny and Josh Lerner, to narrow down the curriculum choices, looking at curriculum choices that other IB schools are using, other schools in general. And then we narrowed those choices down to Eureka Squared, Envision Plus, and Open Up. And then I contacted the companies to set up the initial meetings. We then went to vendor and school connections. I met with all 3 vendors and 4 IB schools that are using these curriculums. I specifically reached out to IB schools because we are an IB school. So it just made sense to connect with those schools. The IB schools I met with were Swift, no, wrong, Kilmer, I'm pointing that way, they're all that way, Kilmer, Ogden, Tubman, and Pulaski. And so I met with all of those IB coordinators, asked them about their process, their thoughts on the math curriculums, how they went through in adopting the curriculum, what it looked like in their school, what it looked like with their staff, all those things. And so I also met with the vendors, asked them similar questions that I asked the coordinators, talked about inclusive practices, collaboration within the curriculums, asked about language access within the curriculum, all the things that are important to Peirce as a community. And then, so that was kind of January-ish. In February and March, and then also with meeting with those vendors was getting them to send us all the curriculum. So we got a mass amount of curriculum shipped here at the beginning of February from all 3 companies. That curriculum was for every single grade level, kindergarten through 8th grade, plus algebra and geometry materials. In February, I set up morning and afternoons where staff could come in and explore the curriculums just as it was laid out. So all 3 curriculums laid out by grade level, and then they could come in, explore, look through, engage with in this space. Then the vendors came to school as well. So we had Eureka Squared and Envision Plus vendors come in person. Envision Plus was during grade level meetings and they spent a whole day here. Eureka Squared and Open Up did on a PD day in February. Open Up was virtual. And so all grade levels, kindergarten through 8th grade, met with the vendors and were able to ask questions and do all that. We took those questions between myself and Josh. We took all of the information that was shared and shared it out with the staff in follow-up notes. And then from there, 12 staff members from ILT and other staff members outside of ILT went and visited all 3 schools. So we went on site visits, we got into classrooms, we saw how the curriculums were being used, accessed, etc. We were able to speak with the coordinators. And then I gave all the curriculum samples to the teachers and said, do not give them back, because I did not want them back. And so they had all the curriculum samples in their grade levels and they were told to play. And so they were to spend the end of February and all of March playing. We were testing. There was a lot of days off in March, and so it was a good time to play with curriculum, go back and review, depending on what samples they had, get online, use the online platforms, et cetera. They had access to all of the online platforms and all of the physical materials as well. And then in April was the final review and vote. In there, which I didn't include, I did connect back with all 3 vendors to ask about professional development, and I'll talk through that in a minute. And then Monday, we moved our grade levels to Monday, threw off my whole week, and we did our final discussions and vote with the entire staff, K through 8. So then, these are kind of like, I broke it down to strengths, challenges, and opportunities for each of the curriculums. In Open Up, built on UDL principles, UDL is universal design for learning, problem-based curriculum, conceptual understanding, student-centered. They had challenges where they had very minimal PD opportunities, minimal practice problems for students. There was a lot of teacher creation that had to happen. Teachers didn't care for the organization of the materials, and there was a lot of booklets. It was hard to navigate. Opportunities was parent access in other languages, standards progression by unit and lesson, and editable documents. For Eureka Squared, balance of procedural fluency, application, and conceptual understanding with inquiry-based methods, built-in opportunities for student discourse, built-in differentiation opportunities and intervention system. They would need to create, teachers felt they would need to create a bank of math games for this curriculum for them to be able to use. I love for sure.
How many more?
Maybe like 3. Understanding of sequence of units may require additional PD. What are the extension hands-on capabilities of the curriculum? So that kind of leads back to like the would need to create a bank of like games and stuff. Integration with Renaissance. Opportunities are that there's an integration with our Renaissance system. So that's our STAR platform that our students take 3 times a year and we use for progress monitoring. Online platform compatible with Google Systems and Google Classroom. Materials are available in English and Spanish, and the online is offered in multiple languages other than Spanish. And they have a year-long professional development series with full-day coaching and in-classroom modeling, which was really lovely to see. Envision Plus, real-world application was very evident, builds out conceptual knowledge. Online activities seemed to build in a good amount of discourse. But then on that other side, that where it said was the real world application was very evident, it was also because the pages were extremely busy. So too many words and pictures, both in cartoon and real world picture form, a lot of language, but at the same time, there was not the amount of content seemed overwhelming, but also not enough content at the same time, because there wasn't enough practice within the curriculum. The balance of reteaching, reviewing prerequisite skills before each unit is disjointed, and an overwhelming amount of content and more teacher directed than inquiry based, even though it looked like it was really inquiry based. Online platform is well organized and has a variety of materials, compatible with Google platforms and Classroom, and also connected to Renaissance and STAR, which those are positives. So in that case, drum roll please, final decision. And they thought the best fit at 86.1% was Eureka Squared. This was based on the vote of our staff. And here were all the reasons why. This was our final conversation about Eureka Squared. And K-5 to start, so we did have that conversation. We felt it was really important to include 6 through 8 in this conversation, even if we didn't go with 6 through 8 right now, because we needed to know that from K-5, whatever we're doing, will transition well to 6-8. Knowing how we teach math in 6 through 8, that we offer algebra and geometry in 6 through 8, that a good number of our students, all of our 8th graders take algebra. So knowing that, we wanted to make sure that was that this was a good transition curriculum, and that is where we ended with Eureka Squared. And the current final cost of Eureka Squared.
Expected.
That's it. I went.
I should have said 10 minutes.
I should have, I suppose. Any questions?
Thank you, Kim.
Thank you for all the work.
Yeah.
Any discussion, questions? So point of clarification, what we voted on these budget transfers was to allocate monies to purchase a new curriculum. And so for specific, so for background, CPS deemed the current curriculum for, what is it, K through 5, not high quality.
It's not
Right,
quality.
so, but that wasn't the only reason though either. We were seeing that in our school, our math was disjointed across K through 8. So this couple of grades over here were doing this, and then this grade here was doing this, and then here we had this grade over here doing a mix of this and this and this, and then we had 6, 8 doing compacted, right? So it was also that, yes, Lucan and Sons who were deemed not high quality, but it was also the disjointedness of it all too. So we needed that vertical alignment
Exactly. That's
to
what I was
be
saying.
really clear and supportive of all the IB principles of
Correct.
practices.
Yes.
And then the question came up about the manipulatives thing. Yeah, I caught that one today when I was redoing math. And I was like, cool. So I've already reached out. I'm waiting to hear back.
Maybe we'll get a discount.
And it they're off. So if you multiply the number 5 by that extra number,
Yeah, so they're given. in
it
some
doesn't work.
cases-
The math doesn't work unless they're giving us something for free.
The math is not matching, well, yeah, so it looks like they're giving
So unless you're getting 4
discounts.
for the 5 for the price of 4, or 6 for the price of 5,
There's something going on.
something's off. So,
And
because we're actually trying to decrease the number of manipulatives kits that we need to purchase.
Right.
So, but anyways, that re-math will happen at some point in my inbox when they get back to me.
I know you guys said you visited a few schools that are using some of this curriculum.
Mm-hmm.
Do we have access to data how their math is doing against ours currently? Just curious.
Just their public profile pages, I would think that's where you would be able to find like their current math scores and stuff. So, and those schools again were Ogden.
And I'm sorry, because I would just expect to be much better than, let's say, ours with such a program like this, you know, paying such a high.
Not-
So
and
I'm just
so
curious.
Let me clarify too, we did not see any schools with open up, and we were okay with that because we had 2 grade levels here who either used it, used parts of it, or used all of it. So, we felt we had good like clarification of what that looked like in the classroom. And every school did it differently. Some school, like we had Ogden didn't purchase any materials and didn't have the materials, and they printed everything. Others had all the materials and had all the things. So, but yes, I don't have the data as to what their math scores are, but I mean, you can go on their website and look, or the CPS website and see that too, so.
I just want to say thank you and congratulations. This
Yeah.
seems like a really big deal and
Yeah.
really exciting. And I was wondering if you could speak to kind of like what this means for Peirce, like what.
It means there's a lot of planning gonna happen
Yeah.
this year. So, a lot of time spent in math land,
Yeah.
and in our IB units and, reflecting, which we'll talk about IB units next. But really like doing that, some really good deep planning around math for the next couple years. This is a 1-year process to implement a new curriculum. I would give it like 4 to 5 years,
Yeah.
like to really see good results, start seeing results of like how this is being implemented over
Right.
time. I would honestly say like at least 4 to 5 years before you start seeing that. 'Cause you're gonna see like, say, kindergarten, for example, in 4 to 5 years, where are they in there once they're in 3rd and 4th grade? So, and like that over time, track a group of kids and see how they really progress through this new curriculum. And year one is just getting used to the stuff.
Right.
So, but PD is really important, and this PD plan with Eureka, it was phenomenal, I thought. So like, cause that's a big piece, and what a lot of the schools said too, was the PD was what really stood out for people.
And obviously we'll explore the PD too, like whatever our staff needs. Pretty sure like right now it's like we're getting them acclimated too with the new math series, and then with their PD offerings, seeing what would be a good fit. Cause that does come with a cost too.
Yeah,
It's something.
PD is not included in this price.
If we ask nicely, maybe they'll give us one, but.
So that's like cost
Especially what they're
thing.
asking for.
Is this something our math teachers have been asking for like a while?
I don't think they've really been asking for it, but I mean, there's just been, it's been a lot of disjointedness. It's not high quality.
Yeah.
We're back in a network, like,
For
you know,
me,
all
it's
the
like
things.
the
All the
vertical,
things,
for me, it was like the vertical alignment too. We want to ensure consistency across school, across grade levels to ensure that that vertical alignment piece is taking place. And I just want to thank Kim too for all your work, and because it was a lot. I mean, I think it was like one of the first things I saw when I got here. We need to look at the math. So thank you, Kim, to Josh and Jenny, like for really.
Josh and Jenny were my sounding boards to the whole thing, because they're the math experts. In my
Yes.
opinion, they are math experts.
There was,
So.
yes. So thank you both.
All right.
I have a
Next.
question about the like transition, like the phasing in. So is this gonna start in the fall?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. And so for the fifth graders who will have this for a year in fifth grade, and then like what happens when they go to sixth grade? Are we planning to have made the next purchase by then?
So that would be,
We have to look at money.
we have to look at the
Okay.
money and see how that looks like next year, because my thinking is we can phase it in next year,
Okay.
because now we did the K to 5, because the thing to consider is the manipulatives and teacher kits
Okay.
are really the bulky price
Mhm.
of it. Like when you purchase a curriculum for, like, let's say for next year for K5, you're really getting the consumables.
Mhm.
We already actually took that into consideration. moving
Well,
forward.
and the 6 through 8 too was like, it's almost the same cost as K5
Mm,
because of the algebra and the geometry.
Right.
So there's actually, like, we're actually purchasing 5 grade levels of things
Yeah.
for 3 grade levels because of the
So,
algebra and the geometry.
we obviously wanna exercise fiscal responsibility and make sure we're not breaking the bank, like, let's not get eager. We want to, but at the same time, it's like, let's phase it in, let's be fiscally responsible to ensure we do this the right way.
And the teachers will have access to the entire digital platform, so they could start like playing around with materials and stuff like that sooner than.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just curious how what that's gonna look like for the kids. The fifth graders, basically, as they move up.
Well, and that came into,
Yeah.
playing into this decision, was like looking at that connection from 5th to 6th.
Right.
So, cause the 6th, 7th, and 8th grade teachers, we decided for them in this case, but they were gonna be given a choice. Do you wanna stick with compacted, or do you wanna continue on
Right.
with this vertical alignment? And, the idea being that, whatever we chose, K5 has got to like be able to continue to push forward, and connect with whatever's happening in 6th grade. So,
Okay, so we don't necessarily have to make another purchase before those students hit sixth grade.
not necessarily,
Okay.
no. But the idea of being, we were thinking of moving forward with 6th grade eventually, so
If we could.
it might be next year, maybe the year after,
Yeah.
but we'll look at money and
It all depends on the, financially where
Yeah.
we're at, so.
Gotcha.
maybe things will get cheaper by then.
Maybe they'll give us a discount.
Hey, we did this already.
Exactly.
Throw this in for free.
Question around the quantity. How are we deciding on the quantity of items we're ordering?
Based on, current student, numbers,
Not classes?
class sizes. Mhm.
No. What I mean is like not the number of classes. Let's say third graders, how many teachers are 3 or 4?
Four teachers,
Okay.
but, 4 classrooms, but 5 or 6 teachers at each grade level.
So wouldn't it make more sense to order 1 for each class?
I don't know which number you're looking at.
No, so basically for each grade, that's the number of kits that they need,
Okay.
because there's a
Yeah.
number of classes that would typically be, part of it.
Oh,
So there might be.
no,
like-
he's looking at the manipulatives one.
Yeah.
This is gonna change.
Okay.
we're looking at, this is gonna be one per grade, one per class. So this
That's
number
what I
will be
was
four. But then we were looking at like, so I did the math, 4 times this is this. So why are we at 5? So this is where I got messed up on the math, because I was like, wait a minute,
It makes sense.
I don't know what's happening here. So I'm waiting to hear back on
So
that
it is
one.
per class, this quantity number is gonna be per.
It
class.
will be per class,
Okay.
yeah, where
That's fine.
this is,
Subject to change.
where the,
Right.
like this
So it
is
might be.
number
a
of
little-
students, this is number of students.
Oh,
Extra work.
Ms. Gerhart, you have designed this, are you gonna be teaching fifth grade
I did
now?
not design any of these curriculum.
Are you gonna be teaching fifth grade now? No. Because a guy is going to fifth grade, we'd love to have you back.
Okay.
whoever did
Alright.
this.
Excellent. Tyler?
Yep.
Go for it.
Okay.
How much time do you need?
Okay, let's do 10 minutes. Alright.
Very good, then.
Okay.
Can I just make last comment? For
What's that?
selling a math curriculum,
I know.
this math is like, every number is wrong.
Yeah.
So I'm just
On the manipulative section is wrong, and that's why I'm like.
not a good start.
Right,
Yeah.
these numbers are wrong too. Yeah.
No, everything is off. It's, so like the Eureka, so it looks like there's a 25% to 15% discount applied across, depending on which grade you're at. So like the grade multiple is a 25% discount, the other one is 15, and then the rest of it is 20%. So I think it's the number of classes that you're talking about, but we just need to understand, because if they're saying manipulative is 14,416, that doesn't even match the sum of the manipulative kits' total prices, right? So it's like 14,416, but really it's 14,513. And then they put like a 26,000 thing in there that doesn't match any of the stuff in the tables. The
I'm
49.
gonna ask about all of
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, so just, they need to redo this, so we kind of figure out what it is, and also the description, premium assessment grades 1 through 9.
Yes, because we will have access, so, we're gonna get, in this case, 538 student accounts, but they will have, the teachers will have access to grades 1 through 9.
Got it,
So,
got it.
of curriculum, so that's why.
Very good. Makes sense. Yeah, so
Okay,
we can't wait for the revised one.
okay, let's get those numbers lower, okay. All right, sure, yeah, transitioning to, the next thing, this is a presentation about Toddle. And so it says more than an LMS, I know it already starts with a bunch of like letters, so learning management system, if you wanna think of like Google Classroom or something like that, okay? So, really the reason that this conversation started is that Toddle is a program that is basically grown out of IB and is, so obviously as such is highly aligned with the IB program. Yeah.
Dipanshu Ora is the developer of this, and he did this approximately, I want to say 7 years ago. He started this out of India, and coming from a PYP school.
So, later in our presentation, you will see what we currently have, but this is just to give you a little snapshot of what the Toddle program does offer. So it is around unit planning. So here is just an example of what it might look like. Oh, no, it's gone. Here's an example of what it might look like. So you can see that we have a unit, it's telling us the time, et cetera, et cetera. It says year 3, so that would be in 8th grade, because that's MYP. So this is the piece that, the streamlining of the planning. This is the piece, right now, we currently have a system where all of these pieces exist in different places, in different folders, in the ether. Okay? So,
The drive.
in the drive, maybe you have access to it, maybe the link's working, maybe there's other links in other places, and it's like a 7-link process. Okay?
Is this student facing or teacher facing?
Okay, good question. So there is a student facing, purchasable component to it, which is not what we're discussing right now. This would all be the teacher facing, the planning of it. There is, there's another component of it that would involve student accounts. You could be building portfolios, linking
families would have
photos and artifacts to different things and tagging them. That would be an additional cost. Okay, and these right here are all components of the current unit that, unit ready, which we again already have, but this is kind of just showing that these are all built within this one unit that you can just see all of it within them.
Yeah, and it's customizable, so there would be one that says Common Core standards or, Learn for Justice standards, like these would be, these are also customizable beyond what IB requirements. So then it can, that's why I was just saying, can you configure to match your requirements? So like if we were happen to be going back to using GRASS, which is just an acronym for, a way to plan for assessment. You can collaborate in real time, so you could have collaboration happening between, say, your grade 4 teachers and the music teacher who might not be able to be in the same space as you, but they can be collaborating at the same time on the same document.
Kimrai would be possibly able to kind of give feedback this way.
Yeah.
You can see it across grade levels.
It's also a way to provide extra learning experiences. So there's a library of experiences that you can pull from, either that have been created by teachers in your building or teachers around the world. And so they have access to a variety of different learning experiences that students can be involved in. We can also then, as coordinators, get insights into what's happening. So we have to manage the programs of inquiry and make sure that all of the concepts are mapped out across all of the grade levels. All of the learner profile attributes are mapped out across all of the grade levels. That there's not a lot of overlap, that everything, all the parts and pieces are in place. So this platform does it for you, where we don't have to sit in front of things and count and put and do like that.
And create a separate document.
Yeah. And then it provides the complete overview right there for all to see and easily downloadable to put onto our website and provide access to families. And then this is that counting that I was talking about of having to make sure all the coverage is there across all the grade levels. So this is in relation to approaches to learning skills. And another way to look at that, this is by grade level. So this is a grade 1, looking at that across the year and how they've mapped out their year. And these are all movable things, so you can move things around. It's not a stationary.
To ignore this is the component you asked about. Well, don't ignore it for now, but this would be opportunities. This is what other schools who utilize that student-facing component. So you can see that they have the students, they would have their own account, and then they would be able to like share that with families. They'd be able to tag certain ATL skills or key concepts or assessment components to it.
And there are a good number of IB schools in the city of Chicago who do use this platform across PYP and MYP. And they do use the student facing. So the one school that I spoke with does use the student facing side of it as well. But that took time. They built that in over time.
And when the benefactor comes, then they would look at it.
So this is just an introduction to like how plans are usually created and how much time it takes. They have a feature built in called Toddle AI. And so it's something we still need to learn more about, but it can really decrease the amount of work a teacher needs to do in order when they're planning these units out. But the AI is connected to all of the IB documents that are necessary for planning, where a lot of times teachers will sit there with multiple documents out, flipping through pages. This brings it to them really quickly. So this is just an example of that.
So So these are suggestions for AI prompts. You could obviously adjust those prompts however you wanted. But again, that like all of those key components of the IB would already be sort of preloaded into it. So right now, I have a couple teachers who use AI when they're unit planning, but they, you know, open up Gemini, they have to like, you know, input lots of IB things, and they say, okay, well, do this, come up with an authentic assessment that's built around quadratics that is related to it, and they can do the same thing. This would just be embedded within them.
It just generates. But again, this is connected to the unit you're planning in, and so they've already pulled that information from your unit to help you plan through this. And this is just more visuals of that. Differentiation is built in as well, so it gives you opportunities to use their platform to build in differentiation opportunities for the classroom to ensure that all students are having access to that grade level content. Creating the comprehensive tools, so helping to create student-led or student-involved and teacher-involved rubrics for assessment.
So like one of the things, like if a teacher were to create, like we have the IB rubrics, but right now teachers can, like will create, like give task specific clarifications for each section to sort of say, this is what for this assignment that of level 6 would look like. It will kind of help with that process.
And this is just like all the schools around the world, just a few of them that use it. A few things about what they have to say. Privacy, we're not bringing in the student yet, but just there is privacy built in. They do have that. And that they value our privacy. And then this is our current planning system. So, and we're gonna give you an example of what this looks like in our system, which is this. So, find the folder.
Okay, now we gotta go find the IB. Now we gotta go to IB units. Okay, which subject area do you want? All right, let's find it. Okay, hold on now. Let's see which grade level we want to go to. And then hopefully those have been loaded correctly into the folder and hopefully they're updated, but maybe they haven't been because the teacher forgot to add it into that correct folder and then no one has seen it.
Right.
So just to give you a little snapshot.
Yeah, or they've searched the drive for it and found it and then made 500 copies
And
of
there's
it.
multiple
And there's
copies.
a copy of a copy of a copy of a copy, and we don't know what's right. So
So this is just to
we
give
do
you
a lot of managing of the copy of a copy of a copy of a copy. So this is the cost currently. We are trying to work with a vendor to bring this down a bit, but this is the current cost. $10,250 with a $1,000 implementation fee.
Yeah.
And we made it. Done. That's it. Oh, and one thing to mention, so this is all this, but we're not on our own with this. So teachers, you would not be uploading your units to this platform. They do it for you. We thought we were gonna spend all summer uploading units if we were able to get this platform. We don't have to. They do it for you. We send them to their units and they upload them, and then we can manage them that way. And the other thing too is, it comes, this cost comes with a title buddy, which is an actual human being who we've already met with, and has provided us with these lovely slides, customized to what we needed. And so, but they are available 24/7, not 24/7, I'm sure they sleep too. But, you know, they're available constantly to support us and support teachers and all of that,
So any tweaks, if we were like, we wanna add, you know, like you said, social justice standards,
Yeah.
pop it in, and then it shows up right in there for the teachers. Questions?
How many minutes for questions, Chair?
Couple minutes, 2 minutes.
So that's 10,250 a year, basically, after the one time, okay, gotcha.
We haven't,
That's, yeah.
we haven't used anything that we've had to pay for.
the last time we used something was 12 years ago, long time ago, and that was only in the middle years program. We've never used anything for the primary years program.
My question is, does CPS or Peirce have like a AI policy somewhere?
CPS has an AI policy.
Oh, okay.
Yes, and they are an
You're
approved
approved.
vendor that's been vetted through this.
I'd be interested in seeing like their like ethical, responsible AI statement as a company.
Yeah, so, can't see it, but it's here.
Yeah.
Are you talking about like in terms of like
Privacy.
privacy, or are you talking more about like in terms of?
I'm talking about like, yeah, the
resource
ethical
usage?
issues with,
Okay.
yeah, AI.
Yeah.
I'm sure they've got a lot to say about that since it's in their name.
Yeah.
I mean, you may recognize some of these logos, but these are typically the ones that have standards in terms of, as we're talking about, the privacy and other considerations. As something for technology and GDPR is European.
Have you guys read this by the teacher or the back?
We did not.
Have we?
I mean, I'm familiar with it because I went
Yeah.
to IB design workshop and many of the teachers that I was in the workshop with, their schools use this and it's just very efficient in wording and time, especially to write some of the statements of inquiry and things like that in a general way that I, like the IB way. So many of the people use this. And then I just had my Google slides and drives and docs that I was pulling up and so, yeah.
You felt a little.
I was like, hang on, I got that.
Hold on, can we pick a couple more texts? Yes, I have also talked to other coordinators, other teachers, not within here, but who have talked about it. And, you know, I mean, I had one teacher who was like, it actually changed the way I plan and like made me a better teacher. And I feel like that was pretty impressive. And that was not related to the IA component. It was really just about the power of being able to have all of the components that we often will have to go back and reference other documents for, are embedded within it and are like, clickable things to show, like pop out.
Yeah, and we did not want to buy them because we felt like this would just make their life easier, so
Yeah.
they would appreciate that.
And because
because they didn't have to do any
they
work.
wouldn't have to front load all of that stuff, then they
Yeah.
could then adjust it as needed, so.
No, I think I was taking more the angle of, obviously $10,000 is a significant amount, and are we gonna get enough use from the teachers? That's what kind of like my take was.
We're gonna delete the drive, no. I'm just kidding.
The
They
amount
will
of time,
have to.
the amount of time NYP has spent doing all of that is probably 10 times the amount of that, especially with the partnerships and stuff.
Right, in
Like
terms of
just in
like
time, in
planning
terms of
time and
time.
all of that stuff that it
Yeah.
usually will take.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much. Ms. Mel.
There you go.
Ongoing conversation. All right, the next item, if I can make such a segue, because we're gonna need some money, is committee reports. First one is FOP. I did get a summary from Aaron, and I just forwarded these reports over to you. Again, you know, the highlights is getting ready for the new school year and the funding, and you saw all of those give backs. I'd like to encourage everyone to participate in those as much as possible. PSO also sent a summary. You're here, you wanna talk? No,
Sunday summary is always way better than anything that I could always say.
it's all good. Again, you know, lots of opportunities. You heard about Fiesta, you heard about
I will say that, please sign up to volunteer for Fiesta, hanging artwork, they have events coming up. So if you are available to volunteer day of or coming up, it's not just for PSO, it's for the art teachers.
Very good, thank you. Did not get, reports from the other groups, but I think there are, several events that they're connected to. And so if there's anything salient, we'll make sure and share that and put that in the folder as well. So I'll move to committee reports, PPLC.
It was pretty much everything that we spoke at our March 31st meeting, which was for April, but we had to bump it up, was already addressed in the principal report. So about the math curriculum, and then the CIWP goals for the new CIWP, and then ISP funds that were received that are gonna help with many summer programs for EL learners, and then center around cover costs for platforms like digital platforms. And the next meeting is May.
I think so.
Our last meeting,
Yeah.
Thank you. Back also sent a summary. I'll share that I share that with everyone, and we'll put that in the, it's a link, so we'll put that in the folder as well. Echoing PSO's call for volunteers to assist, and specifically for Dia del Niño, but also for parents who are interested in volunteering at the school. There's an application process where there are 2 levels involved in terms of it basically allows folks to be in the building or with students, and so there are several levels. So
Do it every year.
encourage everyone to do that. Equity committee.
Equity committee, so we've got, thank you for printing this and sending this around in backpack mail. We have our last of the 3 equity forums coming up, April 16th, 5 o'clock at Peirce. This is the first one that we've hosted that's a family-friendly event. So bring the whole family. We're gonna have a Dabka dance lesson. And we're going to have an art activity led by Send Asian American Association. And we're gonna have some food. And thank you to the principal for securing those funds, and for the LSC for transferring those funds. And FOP, they ended up funding the Dabka dance teacher and some of the food. We so far have 75 RSVPs and counting, so this will be our biggest equity event that we've hosted so far. So I think that tells us like what folks are interested in, and that this family-friendly model really brings out folks. So yeah,
Food brings
so
out people
and
too.
food, free food and dance. So yeah, come on out. So that'll be fun. Also, we're gonna have, I think, probably our last meeting of the school year in May, and we're going to elect new committee chairs, yeah, for the equity committee. So it was a 2-year term that our leadership served, and now we're gonna have elections for our new leadership at the May meeting. And we're always taking new members, so we always meet in the field house, and you can join the committee on a rolling basis any month. The other thing to look out for is before the end of the year, we'll send out a survey asking for feedback on topics for next year. We always have like a running list of topic ideas for these 3 equity forums. As we kind of gain momentum with this model, we get more and more requests for different topics. So look out for that survey to vote on which 3 topics you want to see next year. And then I just wanted to take the opportunity to thank everybody for everything for the LSC elections, basically, for everyone who was involved in that. I feel like this year we did an amazing job as a school community really promoting the LSC elections. And I'm looking at you, Principal Avila. I appreciate the things you did I never saw before, this banner in the hallway and all sorts of things. So that was great, getting the word out. We also had Rep create that fantastic voter guide. So shout out to Rep for that. That was really amazing. We had back an FOP for the first time ever hosting candidate forums. That was really cool. And we had a really great turnout at both of those. Shout out to Mr. Papadopoulos for participating, being the first staff teacher candidate to participate in the school-wide forum. That was really amazing and hopefully sets a precedent, moving forward. And then I wanted to give a special shout out to Sonia H., who I wasn't here when y'all voted to, on the final results, but Sonia received 40 more votes than any other candidate in the election. And I just want to acknowledge that and say that that is, I think, a testament, to her incredible work and leadership at Peirce. And is really a mandate from our community for more bilingual families to have a seat at the table where decisions are made. Representation really matters, and people turn out when there's a candidate that really inspires them. So thank you to Sonia for stepping up, and for everybody who ran and who served and is stepping off and promoted the elections. So that's it. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you. Next item, principal evaluation. So as a follow-up to last meeting, because of the timing between Luis's first day and the May 1st deadline for conducting, reviewing results and completing a formal evaluation to be entered in the principal evaluation portal, we asked to see if there was what we had as alternatives. And so the answer that we got from the Department of Principal Quality is that because of that deadline, we didn't have to do this by May 1st. We didn't have to do a formal evaluation by May 1st. In lieu of that, we could do what they refer to as an informal check-in. So there were a couple of clarifications that we needed to get, what was the decision-making process? Is this something that we need to vote on? Or it needs to be like some kind of unilateral decision. The other thing is, the timing, and also in terms of deadlines. So in terms of decision, this is kind of like a resolution that we can agree on as a group to provide feedback, perhaps and so what I'd like to propose is, if we want, follow the rubrics that are out there, understanding that many of those may not be applicable given the limited time that we've had, but give it our best. It's not a survey that's going to go out to students or parents. It's something that we're going to come together as an LSC to put our thoughts and have them ready for Luis. In general, during the formal process, once those results have been put together, the chair would typically meet with the principal to discuss this. Because this is informal, my suggestion would be that I share, any and all comments that come from the group directly with Luis, so that he has an opportunity to see what's out there, and if there's a need for conversation or discussion, that we facilitate that. So that's sort of, and in terms of when we need to get that done by, because we don't have a deadline to enter any results in PI, the principal evaluation portal, but also keep it in mind that we have one more regular meeting, possibly another one for special meeting for budget approval. I felt we could use the next couple of weeks sort of, collecting these thoughts or this feedback based on, what our thoughts are, and, perhaps even conversations that we have with our fellow parents or community members and staff and teachers. And then again, summarize these and share them with Luis. So that's what I'd like to propose, that the next week I send
Is that a motion?
It's a resolution, actually. It's not a motion. We don't have to vote on it. So that's what I like to do. Let's folks kind of feel strongly about one way or the other, or not participating. But I think that, it's been since Luis came on, we've had some time, although perhaps not sufficient time, but we had some time to kind of interact with him, and we can provide something that will be some sort of a baseline, understanding that these evaluations are cumulative, and upcoming LSCs will add to that and make that process more formal.
Two thoughts, right? So the rubric that we've done before, right, there's a bunch of things that don't apply.
Correct.
And if you're talking about just asking this group right here, could you just knock like 4 of those things off of there and just like circulate 6 relevant questions to us? Instead of having everyone write NA on like 6 bullet points.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
I can take a look at that and, we can just send.
I mean, it's a Google form,
Mm-hmm.
so.
Yes, it's easy to edit and then send back out. That's not a problem at all.
The other thought I had is, in an informal one, right? I completely agree that it's not a good use of time to go through an entire evaluation and ask everyone everything and go through this when we can't answer half the questions. But could we, I don't know, in your discussions, ask like 2 questions to the whole community? The questions like, did we make a good decision hiring this principal? Have you seen a change in this transition? Have you seen a positive change to the school? Yes or no? I mean, that right there doesn't get into a whole lot of detail, but it does kind of provide some sensing. Just, do you think we're doing it? Are we headed in the right direction? And a simple comment, is there a suggestion you would have to make an improvement for next year? That way, it's not a formal thing, but you're still asking for input.
It's valid.
Great. Any other thoughts?
And if this is informal, then, as long as people are comfortable with it, I'm happy to just write the 2 or 3 boxes of, I think we have made an improvement, or I think that we've gone sideways.
Yeah, for me, I think it's important to make it more qualitative at this point, right? To kind of like gather that sort of, we were talking about AI, you can just put that in there and just get a sentiment, but at the same time.
There's not a lot to quantify yet.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
I think we have a lot of momentum from the principal selection process. We have a working group of parents that were part of the interview cohort. So I think it'd be great to just keep that momentum going, to keep the community engaged in the process, to make sure that they know that they have a portal into this process. Maybe not this particular evaluation because it's sort of a hybrid, but in the future, for sure.
Yeah, so maybe we can disseminate that through the groups.
I wonder if Principal Avila, if you have like some questions in mind that you think would be helpful, like if you could put a survey out to the community to help you get valuable feedback, like what questions would you want to ask? You don't have to answer that now, but I feel like,
Sucks.
you know.
Stuff like that.
Everyone wants sushi and ice cream.
Yeah. Oh, that's right.
I think the kids would be asking for candy.
That's a great question. Yeah.
No, I mean, it's valid. I think I always welcome constructive feedback. I mean, I'm being honest.
Yeah, exactly,
I mean, it helps me, to evaluate and reflect on what I'm doing as, because you entrusted me, the LSC entrusted me with this responsibility, and I want to make sure that I'm serving to the best of my abilities.
Yeah.
And I'm always looking for room for improvement. Like even beyond the LSC, like I ask because I have a mentor, I ask them like, hey, am I doing this right? Like my network chief. So I'm always asking, I want to make sure that I'm doing my job to the best of my ability. So I welcome the feedback. Like even it's like something like simple, like with the principal's report, I'm like when I talk to Maggie, I'm like, that's exactly what I need to hear because, first time principal, I just want to know what is expected of me too.
All right. Okay, so we'll come up to something with a couple of bullet points and then share that. I think to your point, just we can share that across the school.
Yeah.
Just something quick or faster than the 32 rubric items that we have.
You brought up, there's only one regular meeting. It's just a simple form that we can send out and have it done by the next meeting. And then since it's informal, we don't need to vote through this whole process. It's just, it would be good for you to have something before the school year ends.
I think I agree. I totally agree with that.
Okay. Sounds good. We'll do that. Any other questions?
No update on SY27 budget.
Yeah. New
No
business?
surprise that there's no update.
But I will say I would like to form a budget committee. If anyone is interested, I'll reach out upon receiving the budget.
Yeah.
But if anyone is interested in LC, I'll reach out to the LC.
Yeah.
So we form a committee.
Yeah, my answer's the same in everyone. I wanna help, but there's only so much I can do during the workday.
Right, of course, understood. And obviously, we'll have those discussions too in our special meeting or whenever the budget is released.
Items again that we wanna add, so, an update on on that budget committee if there is
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
I think the only other thing that I can think of is any other budget transfers, but I'll share those with you.
That's a regular.
Yeah, it's a regular
item.
Then we have some confirmation on the costs, the different cost items that we were given.
And probably the contracts for the Y and Apollo. That we do need
Time to
to,
renew those.
yeah. We need to read that.
That's a good point. Usually at this point in time, they would send out an email asking parents.
Yeah, they reached out, I think, yesterday or the day before. So for enrollment for next year.
Parents have to you.
Yeah.
We also have had summer camp in the past, but not this last summer, so
Not in a few years.
I'm wondering if they're coming back.
So one thing is this summer, there's going to be construction in the building. That's the only thing. So with the 360 programs like Ms. Tulpa shared, we were thinking of doing an in-house EL program right after the school year ends with the 36,000 that we got from ISB. Because there's do's and don'ts for the program, and that's a do that you can do, like you can support those students. But on top of that, we also want to target at-risk students that might be at a tier 2, tier 3 level. Again, obviously, it would require a commitment from parents sending their kids. Wouldn't be the whole day, but it would require that commitment. So we're looking into that, but that would be only the month of June because per the conditions, you have to use all the funds by June 30th. So if I open a bucket for it, which, I have to do, I believe, by June 5th, then I can use those funds for that purpose.
There is a camp inventions.
June 27th.
They have a 1 week.
After,
Yeah,
right?
that's just 1 week. And if we have the old program and camp convention, it would all be on this side of the new side of the building. Because the bulk of it's gonna be on the old building.
Got it.
I did notice that camp invention is wrong week. It's when the school's out, but the weeks that are needed are like the first couple of weeks of school. And they're after that. It's
I think one of the reasons that week was chosen too was because that week is technically, there's a PD day on that Monday.
Yeah.
And the following week, I believe, is Juneteenth. And so all schools are closed.
Yeah.
So I think they're wanting some consistency of the 5 days.
Yeah.
Thank you. Old business, Eric, I put that in here, kind of like a follow-up conversation
Yeah.
from last time.
Yeah, it's one that we talked about a bunch, and I think it could be closed. It's just, I asked to keep it in here because I still don't have a good understanding. I know that we redid the field trip forms, and there was a discussion about should people be donating to FOP or donating through Aspen, and the last discussion is we can't solicit on any of those forms to donate anywhere. So then, I don't know how to solve it other than the forms right now, they say that there is a way for you to donate, and then teachers know that there is a process. So I don't know what else to do because, right, we can't put FOP on any official school stuff saying, click here to go to a third-party organization. That's just the only thing I had was making sure that there's an easy way for anyone who wants to help be able to do it. So I don't think there's anything else here unless something new has come up that I don't know about.
Okay. I don't
Yeah. Our hands are a little
know.
tied.
What I'll reiterate my plea to.
Unless there's a motion.
Yeah, I know. I reiterate my plea to help FOP as much as we can.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree, yeah.
All right. Public participation. Do we have? We have a couple of
Alright.
make it happen.
Lauren. Lauren Feinhardt, parent of the fifth grader and the second grader. I had 3 things that I want to talk about, after everybody talked. The first one was about the curriculum. First of all, I want to appreciate everyone's time and effort, in reviewing all the curriculums. Our family really loves math, especially my kids, and I have a 5th grader that's going into 6th grade. We talk to parents that are parents of 6th graders because I have a 5th grader going into 6th grade. And I understand that it sounds like people are saying that there's a math curriculum. From the worksheets that I've seen that 6th graders have, it doesn't sound like the curriculum is being followed. It concerns me a great deal that this curriculum is not being purchased for 6th to 8th grade, for the middle school years. I'm going to say what I said when my kid was at a different school, when they went from phonics curriculum to a Fontes and Purnell curriculum, which is like, the house is on fire. Like, our kids are falling behind schools that are way less resourced than us. Ask SLP for the money, throw money at the curriculum that we need, so our kids do not continue to fall behind. They are struggling in math when they shouldn't be struggling in math. We have parents who can afford it, paying for private tutors. We have families that can't afford it, sending their kids into high school underprepared for high school math. We are a well-resourced school. This should not be happening. Bottom line. Just ask FOP for the money. I'm always gonna say that. It just pushes them to fundraise more, which is okay. The other thing is, I really appreciate your comments about having digital literacy talked about in the classrooms.
I do 2 minutes, but we can keep going.
Sorry.
How much, do another minute?
Sure. But our former teacher who taught about like computer science, she also taught programming, robotics. Like, it was much more than just digital literacy. So I want to encourage you to talk more to the middle school teachers about what she did. It was way more than just digital literacy, and I think that was a great outlet for middle school students to have a opportunity to learn more about programming as middle schoolers. Last thing, Tuttle, as a former case manager who did a lot of unseen work and who appreciates a lot of the unseen work the teachers do, the case noting, the communication with parents, all of the entering, all of that information in that parents, students don't get to see. That is the labor that is like really the grind, and putting money into making teachers more efficient and taking that off their shoulders. I just want to put my, say, please, please, please do that for them. It'll make our teachers way more efficient and better teachers.
Very good. Thank you.
Carla. Hi, everybody, Carla Rosales. I have a 4th grader here. So I have a question and a request, I guess. And this taps into what Nicole asked about the ethics and the guidance for the partner that you're evaluating. So forgot the name. I brought it somewhere here. Toto? So I want to see if they can also include, with generative AI, there are always variations and errors. So I would like to understand the guidance or what is the overall QA assurance process, what safeguards are in the system, and what training they are providing the teachers to catch all these variances and possible hallucinations of the system. That's it.
So this is for the equity committee. I have a comment for the request. Presuming that the equity committee is a formal committee of the local school council, I would propose that you postpone on electing your officers, because once the new LSCs come in, once the newly elected LSC members come in, they will then be electing who's gonna be the chair, vice chair, secretary of the LSC, and any other committees that are a formal committee of the LSC. So I would just kindly ask to postpone those elections until the newly elected members take their place. And I know there's I think 4 or 5 current LSC or 2 current LSC members who were re-elected, might be on the equity, and then I think there are 2 newly elected LSC members who are also on the equity committee. But just give us the opportunity to elect those members, those officers. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you. You had great comments, so thank you. I checked also online, I didn't see anything come through. We do have a comment on the YouTube channel. Somebody's joining in from Germany, giving us high fives.
Hello from Germany. No idea if you plan to stream this publicly, but I'd let you know. I'll stop procrastinating and going to bed now. Keep up the good mood, strangers. Bye. Thanks. Should probably ask for their privacy settings.
Hello to Germany, that's a new one.
All right, announcements, comments?
Yeah, so for the next meeting, going back to my commitment to include their comments, so can we bring back the math curriculum purchase conversation and to Laura's point? Lauren, there you go. Lauren's going to look at purchasing the entire curriculum and see if there's any opportunity there. And then also for Carla's comments about total, yeah.
I also.
If you want to send, I know you wanted some
Yeah, I
more.
just want the guidance for assurance of the material. They are planning the units for it, like, fact checking, just variation and hallucination. If one teacher creates one unit and another teacher is creating a similar or same unit, we just need to make sure how they remain consistent, aligned to ideas, yes, but also avoid like the generative part to go like elsewhere. That's it. So a lot of the AI tools currently, yes, it's about giving information and getting an output, but the human work is actually review that what you're getting into, you just don't just pass it through, like really evaluate and be critical of the information you're getting. So which the teachers now will spend the time on. So are they providing either things that are already built in software, or are they by like checklists or training even of the tool?
And then if we can get an answer about the elections, the equity elections, if they can be solved, we can also have that added to our next meeting.
Sounds good.
And then my other comment or question is, and I know I voted yes on this, I just wanted to kind of just point out that I feel like for any forums that we do, I feel like the school should not be. Obviously, we have funds restrictions and obviously a great cost of stuff that is coming our way. But you know, paying for lunch or food for a forum, I feel like the school should not be something that is paying for. I don't want us to run into where different forums now are happening and saying like, well, you sponsored that forum, so why are you not giving us some money to?
Okay. Makes sense. Thank you. Like to remind everyone that the annual Lunar Year Parade is going to be next February, and Peirce is expected to have a film. So we appreciate your participation. Norms, thank you all. This is a long meeting, but thank you for speeding this up. We appreciate everything you do here. With that, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor? Thanks, everyone. Have a good one.